Hi, I'm Hans-Peter Meyer, and I'm talking to Sam Sommers here in our beautiful kitchen in Comox. And we're talking about housing as one of the pillars of sustainability and the Comox Valley Sustainability Strategy. Sam, just a little bit of background. How long have you been in the valley?
I've been here for about 25 years.
And you had an interesting story about what brought you here, particularly, well, you said you left Port Alberni 25 years ago looking for an affordable place to live. You had to sell your house?
Well, about 35 years ago. When there was a depression in the province, the economy went bust in Port Alberni and lots of places, so had to sell my house in Qualicum. I commuted back and forth to Port Alberni from Qualicum to work in a plywood mill. And so I had to sell my house, and I had to look where could I go with really very limited income and needing to raise my family. So I looked at the obituary column for longevity on all the papers in the island, and Comox Valley won.
So you said, how did they win?
The longest living. You know, and like I said, I don't know why that was. I just know that it was. The housing was affordable, and I knew that this was a very creative community, and that attracted me.
Right. So it's still a creative community, I think, but our
not
housing
affordable.
not affordable housing, and
No.
so you've actually gotten involved in affordable housing activities and research and action.
I have. I'm involved with a homelessness society, Dawn to Dawn, but I also work in my day job as an addictions coordinator. And we're seeing increasing numbers of people that are homeless coming through our doors, and it's very difficult to sustain any kind of recovery when you don't live anywhere, or when you live in a place that's so riddled with substance use that it's you know. So housing is a key issue in all of my activities in the community.
Right. So thank you for playing along with the 3x2x8 process that we're using here, where I ask everybody the same 3 questions. So you've had a look at you didn't really know about this, you weren't very involved with sustainability strategy, but you've had a look at the goals and objectives, right?
Right, yeah.
So what excites you about the strategy, or what you're seeing in the draft?
Well, I'm excited that there is a call, an invitation for a plan around sustainability, and sustainability to me meaning housing that can actually work for the residents of a community, creating a community that doesn't implode on itself with pollution and et cetera, that we have enough food. Those are all sustainability things to me, creating a safe and decent community to live in. And so I think I like the idea that it talks about making housing possible for everybody, and creating communities that don't depend so much on cars, and creating communities that are planned, and not just random whatever's going on in the marketplace determines cancer-like growth or absolutely no growth when there's a downturn, but something much more balanced. And so to me, when I saw this, I could see that that's a possibility in the plan.
Right, and that relates to something we're going to talk about, which is how you see change happening. But one of the next question here that I have for you is how do you, what do you see the challenges of implementing this kind of a strategy?
Well, yeah, I think that looking at it, it's very ambitious in terms of time frames, given the way people change, the way human beings go about.
Can you elaborate on that? Because you've got some ideas about that.
Yeah, well, I get through my days with the populations and my family and everybody I work with by looking at, it's called the trans-theoretical change model. It's basically lots of research on how do human beings change, whether it's quitting smoking, diet, moving to another community, do we have another kid, should I eat salad or meat? I mean, it's all
any kind of change.
Any kind of change. And so looking at any kind of change, how do we do it? We start off by not believing we need to do it, and that's a normal thing. And I think when you're an organizer, it's hard to hear that that's just normal, having that first reaction. And then maybe you think, okay, well, I don't need, what the heck, I don't need to change, but What was that you said? So you get a little information. It makes you a little bit starting to ask questions of yourself. Well, maybe, but I don't know enough. So you get more information, and you think, well, I'd like to consider that, but I can't imagine how it would work. And I really see that in this plan. That I think I'm at that level after reading. Well, it's a good idea, but what are some of the concepts? What are the ideas? And so I need more information. At that stage, we all need more information, and we need to believe change is possible. So hope is part of that. And sometimes when something's in front of us that compels us to change, whether we like it or not, we're forced into hope. That happens sometimes with people with addiction, or if we've lost our job and we have to think about what next. We're forced to be creative. So it's an opportunity. And once we get a lot of information, once we're kind of getting ourselves ready to change, then we need to know what some of the baby steps are. So that's when we would start to look at what are the little steps that we need to start to take. And so that would be moving on into action. And then how to maintain the momentum once you're there. And I think it's really hard for someone who's way further down the road to have patience and know that and realize it's normal for people to be at the what the heck stage. I'm not looking at this.
Right, so in terms of the strategy, one of the challenges actually is accepting that.
Hurry up and slow down. Hurry up and slow down while everybody catches up, and you need to have a large majority of people catching up. Think about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, how many people smoked.
Yeah.
And there was first of all, physicians came out and said, whoa, this is what happens. So
right.
information from respected places. And we started to consider that. And we've moved well along.
I'm going to just jump in here because I think your point is that 15 years ago everybody smoked. Now it's really changed. So
really changed.
We can actually see change happen, but it's
possible
a process.
to change.
Because I got to get to the third question, and we've only got a couple minutes left. And that third question is, how do you see yourself playing a role in terms of realizing this housing sustainability in the Comox Valley? Yourself or the organizations you work with?
Yeah, thanks for asking that.
And given you've got 2 minutes.
Include people. Include those of us who work with marginalized populations.
So that's what you're doing. That's what your organizations are doing, is being inclusive like that? Is that what you're saying?
We're trying our best to listen, and we need to be able to join with others who have different levels of power, different levels of ears, different levels of ability to put things in place. But I think we need to know we need to know about seniors and youth and people with mental health issues and addiction issues and handicaps, and how do we include that into what we're thinking in terms of creating sustainability, because I don't believe in marginalizing and putting people in pockets for that. We need to have an integrated community. We need to connect with our seniors. Youth need seniors, seniors need. We need each other, and people with mental health and addictions need to be a part, not a separate, shunned part of the community. So we need lots of planning and lots of information so people understand that. And those of us who work in those fields are in a prime place to bring you information from the people we serve. Making
so you're
sure
a resource to decision
we're
makers,
a conduit.
planners.
I see us as a conduit of information around planning housing and what kind of housing, and working with homeless folks in the valley. I've learned so much that I thought I already knew, but I really knew nothing. And that's the other thing about change. You start somewhere and then you learn. So the bottom line is to start somewhere and be open to learning. And that's what creates a creative, exciting solution. And it looks like there's a real strong attempt to get some of those creative ideas happening in the community. But I can see that people will feel a lot of resistance and fear at first, because it's quite a different way to look at it.
Okay.
But I can't think of a place with more heart and more creativity, so that's my thought. That's my hope.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Sam. And we're running out of time here, but I will make the invitation to anybody out there who's got thoughts about housing neighborhoods to comment at the space on this at the end of this video.
Imagine this idea coming to your neighborhood. That's what I did to try and wrap my head around it.
Okay.
What if it did?
Thanks a lot, Sam.